Hello, hello! What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I wanted to make a video today about something that I call the Rusin trifecta, which is, again, about shoulder mobility, scapular strength, and also just really shoulder health and postural health as well. Today we'll be using this little guy here, El Bandido, and you can get a sense of sort of how thick it is. It's not the smallest band available, it might be the second smallest, but for this little trinity of movements that I'm going to show you today, you don't want the smallest bands of these types. They're not universally color coordinated. That would make infinitely more sense than what people do now, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. In other words, I can't just say, hey, go get the blue band, because the vast majority of bands of this width that I have seen are actually red. So I don't know why this one is blue. I actually got it from Dr. John Rusin himself, or through his website, and it's actually Dr. John who is the creator of this little trinity of movements, hence the Rusin trifecta. His name is Dr. John Rusin. He's an awesome practitioner. I believe he's a doctor of physiotherapy down in the States, who's been very influenced by Louis Simmons, the creator of Westside Barbell in Columbus, Ohio, powerlifting, and one of the powerlifting and strength meccas of planet Earth for sure. So yeah, Dr. John is a cool guy. Look him up if you're interested. He's always given away a lot of great free material. And yeah, so I've been practicing this little trinity of movements for the last 2 or 3 years. Really, really love them. Essentially, the breakdown is doing 3 rounds of each of the 3 movements. And then each movement, you would do anywhere from 10 to 15 repetitions, depending on how you're feeling. This little sequence, this trinity sequence, is an awesome warm-up for any kind of upper body workout that you're going to do. It helps with pressing workouts, especially any kind of horizontal pressing or body weight, funky push-ups, anything overhead for sure. Again, body weight or open chain movements, barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell. The sequence is wonderful for posture, so just to kind of do it at random throughout the day, awesome. And it can also be definitely a preventative measure in relation to not hurting your shoulders. And it probably is even healing as well. Once you have hurt your shoulders, this sequence can help restore health and function to the area. So, without further ado, and if you have any questions about it, just drop me a comment below, and I'll try to answer your question to the best of my ability. So the first one is just an over and back. It would look like this. So, glutes on, core engaged slightly. Doesn't have to be super hard, but we're trying to engage in the glutes so as to anchor the spine and not get into rib flaring as we go over and back. I choose a width with the band that is going to allow me to experience a kind of moderate amount of difficulty as I go over and back. In other words, I don't want it to be an absolute breeze. If I go right to the end of the band and I'm going forward and back, it's not bad to do that by any means, but you don't get nearly as much out of it as you would if you brought your hands in a little more narrow. If you go super duper narrow, then it really does become more of a strength exercise, which maybe isn't the best to do unless you're warmed up in the shoulders. So if you're using this, for instance, as a means of breaking up, sitting throughout your day, and if you're sitting for 8 hours a day or more, this is a really nice reason to get up, stand up for your right. Sorry, I couldn't help it. To get up and break up all the sitting. So anyway, choosing a moderate width of hands, and you would do 10 to 15 of these guys. What I'm doing is trying to keep my arms really long and straight, and I'm trying not to flare my ribs. So that's where the glutes come into play, and also the abdominals as well. Because as I flex in here and in here, again, it's anchoring my spine so that my spine is not moving around as my arms are moving around. So that would be movement number 1, the over and back. Awesome thing to do. Did a video the other day about the dowel rod over and backs, and then kind of hitting it with a diagonal angle. Same kind of concept, same kind of cues, only it's a little harder with this guy because you have to work to stabilize a very dynamic and malleable instrument or implement, which is the band. However, that's exactly where arguably the increased value comes from. So that's movement number 1, the over and back. Then movement number 2 is the banded face pull. So I'm just going to attach this to a door handle right behind this camera. Okay. So that's often when I do this Trinity sequence at home, I will wrap this onto the door handle, and because it works really well, and then I can do these kneeling face pulls. So this is movement number 2, and you do 10 to 15 repetitions of this guy. And why it's so nice is I have scapular retraction, or the moving back and together of my shoulder blades. Then I also have external rotation through the arms. And that combination of retracting your scapula and also externally rotating your arms is fantastic for shoulder health and postural health as well, and also performance. I made a new friend today. Shout out to Nicolette. How's it going? Nice talking to you today. And sure enough, we got talking a bit about shoulder health and the importance of external rotation strength, or essentially being quite strong in patterns of external rotation. And that's, as far as your arm is concerned, essentially that motion, or this motion. So when you pair external rotation with scapular or shoulder blade retraction, right, which is what happens when we do rows, amongst other things, then you have an excellent duo that's very, very helpful for shoulder health, for injury prevention, and for performance enhancing. Coach Charles Poliquin, the late Charles Poliquin, he was one of the first to publicly talk about the direct connection of external rotation strength and your ability to press better, or press more weight, and also do so more healthfully. And he was one of the most renowned strength and conditioning coaches on planet Earth. So when people like him are touting something, it's good to pay attention and at least give it a listen before doing whatever you want with it. So the face pull is awesome, again, because it's pairing external rotation and scapular retraction. So you would do in your sequence 10 over and backs, 10 face pulls. So I'm pulling this to just below my chin. And again, I'm trying to not arch through my spine. I'm just trying to maintain a nice neutral spine instead of doing that, arching back. Instead, I just want nice spinal neutrality as I do my face pulls. Sometimes doing them kneeling is better because it's easier to maintain a neutral spine from a kneeling position. Once you're standing, it's easier to move your spine around more. So I'll leave it to you. Either way, try and maintain that spinal neutrality. And last, but certainly not least, the band and pull apart. So I grab the band, and again, the width of my hands is going to determine how difficult this movement is. If you feel confident and strong, adopt a narrower grip, as I have done here. If you're new to the movement and you're new to working with bands, maybe start with a slightly wider grip. Whichever grip you choose, we're going to push the shoulders back and down. And again, same cues through the core, glutes on, abs on, so as to anchor the spine. Now I peel this sucker open. You can't really see it. Watch my hand. I just externally rotate a little. So I'm spinning my hand backwards just a little while I keep my shoulders back and down. Peel. So this is a lot about the posterior deltoids, the scapular muscles. I really feel it in my shoulders. Feels good, even just from doing a few of them. So, there you go. That's the Rusin trifecta, as I call it. 3 juicy little moves. Great for all things upper body, more or less. And yeah, enjoy. This is something you can practice really as often as you want. It's great as a primer. It can be healing for the shoulders. It can restore posture, function, all kinds of good stuff. So leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I will try as best I can to answer. Enjoy. Have a good one.